The story begins on the night of April 3rd with a frantic 911 call made by Courtney Clenney, who is in a state of panic. She tells the operator that her boyfriend Christian is dying, but struggles to provide crucial information like the exact location. "I can't feel my arm," Courtney cries out, desperately trying to describe the dire situation. But her hysteria makes it difficult for the operator to understand. The operator urges her to stop screaming and provide the address, but Courtney is too distraught to respond clearly. After a tense moment, a second caller, hearing the commotion in the building, steps in and provides the full address, including the apartment number where the altercation is taking place. This crucial information matches what Courtney had previously said, confirming to the operator that they were dealing with the same incident. With the location now clear, police are dispatched to the scene. As officers race toward the apartment, the tension escalates. Upon arriving, they are confronted with a chaotic scene that mirrors the panic described by Courtney. They find Christian, gravely injured, and immediately call for medical assistance. The urgency of the situation is palpable as paramedics begin to work on Christian, trying to stabilize him while the investigation unfolds. This is where the investigation takes its first crucial steps, an emergency situation that sets the stage for what's to come. The police, already aware of the gravity of the situation, prepare to dive deeper into the details of what transpired in the hours leading up to Christian's injuries. As the paramedics work on Christian, Courtney is still in shock, her emotions fluctuating between despair and disbelief. She desperately pleads to be taken to the hospital, crying out to the officers, "Can I please go see him? Can I please stand up and see if he's okay?" But despite her frantic pleas, the officers refuse. Their priority is clear. The investigation must take precedence before any further action can be taken. Courtney is moved outside to wait while police begin assessing the scene. Her panic doesn't subside and her behavior only intensifies as she continues to demand answers. "Please, please, get up right now," she shouts, her voice laced with panic, though it's unclear who she's speaking to. Her attempts to join Christian at the hospital are repeatedly denied. The officers, remaining calm and composed, focus on gathering information from her. They begin questioning Courtney, asking about her relationship with Christian and how long they had been living together. She reveals that they moved in together in January of that year, but it's clear that the relationship has not been without its struggles. As she speaks, it's apparent that Courtney is overwhelmed, caught between the emotional chaos of the night and the cold reality of the police investigation unfolding before her. While the medical team continues to work on Christian, the officers focus on the crime scene and any clues that might explain what led to the injuries. The tension between Courtney's obvious distress and the officer's calm demeanor sets the stage for what's to come. With the police carefully gathering evidence, it becomes evident that the story is more complicated than it seems. There's much more to uncover about the volatile dynamic between Courtney and Christian, one that will soon come to light in the interrogation room. As the investigation unfolds, the dark truth about Courtney and Christian's relationship begins to surface. During questioning, Courtney reveals the strain that had been building between the two for months. She admits that their relationship had been anything but smooth, marked by arguments and occasional physical confrontations. When asked about the frequency of police visits to their apartment, Courtney reluctantly confesses that the police had been called once before, after a particularly violent incident. She recounts a disturbing moment when Christian had threatened her with a knife, an event that deeply rattled her. "He grabbed it in front of my face," she says, visibly shaken. This admission is chilling, as it paints a picture of a volatile and dangerous relationship, one filled with escalating tension and unresolved conflicts. As police dig deeper into their history, they discover even more evidence of their toxic dynamic. Text messages between the couple reveal a constant back and forth of emotional manipulation, anger, and resentment. Security footage, though lacking sound, shows the couple in the midst of a physical altercation just days before the incident. The footage, despite its silence, speaks volumes, an image of the couple in an increasingly hostile and abusive environment. Courtney's responses in the interrogation seem to contradict the severity of the violence. She claims that she couldn't remember how the argument had started on the night of the stabbing, further distancing herself from the events. But the police have seen enough to know that the violence wasn't isolated. It had been building for months, with physical and emotional abuse becoming part of their daily lives. The deeper the investigation goes, the clearer it becomes that the relationship was not just toxic, but potentially deadly. The police now have a clearer understanding of the history of violence between Courtney and Christian, and the disturbing realization sets in. This wasn't the first time things had escalated to the point of police involvement. As they continue to piece together the events leading up to the stabbing, one thing becomes undeniable. This was a relationship filled with danger and dysfunction, and it was only a matter of time before tragedy struck. The night of the stabbing unfolds with increasing tension. Courtney describes a final altercation between her and Christian that would change everything. In the interrogation room, she explains that when Christian approached her aggressively, she felt trapped and terrified. "I swear to God, I didn't mean to use it," Courtney claims, referring to the knife she had grabbed in a moment of desperation. "I didn't want to hurt him." According to Courtney, she was on the phone with her mother when Christian came toward her, and she instinctively grabbed the knife to protect herself. But when pressed by the police, her account becomes more difficult to believe. She claims she was just trying to defend herself, but the evidence from the crime scene tells a different story. The police find blood splatters all over the apartment, blood in the kitchen, the living room, the entryway, and even the bathroom. It's clear that the violence wasn't a spontaneous reaction, but a culmination of the escalating abuse that had been a part of their relationship for months. As detectives continue to question her, Courtney's story begins to unravel. She's asked about what happened after the stabbing. Did Christian try to walk around? Did he continue to chase her? Courtney insists he didn't move much after being stabbed. She says he fell to the ground immediately after she grabbed the knife. But the lack of physical evidence to support her version of events only adds to the suspicion. The police continue to examine the apartment, uncovering more clues that paint a troubling picture of the night's events. They find evidence of a struggle in multiple areas, with broken glass from previous arguments scattered throughout the apartment. It's clear this was not an isolated incident. It was part of a pattern of violence that had escalated over time. While the investigation progresses, Courtney seems overwhelmed by the weight of the situation. She repeatedly asks for updates on Christian's condition, hoping for any sign that he might pull through. But the detectives, knowing the severity of the injuries, are left with the cold reality. Christian's life was hanging by a thread, and his fate would soon be sealed. Christian's condition deteriorates rapidly. Despite the best efforts of paramedics and doctors, he is pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. Courtney, who had been frantically asking for updates, is faced with the devastating news that the man she once called her boyfriend is now gone. The tragic outcome marks a turning point in the case. What started as a chaotic night of violence has now become a homicide investigation. As the investigation continues, the police uncover disturbing details about the couple's tumultuous relationship. Secret recordings from previous arguments reveal a chilling pattern of abuse, with Courtney at times expressing a cold indifference toward Christian's suffering. In one recording, she is heard saying, "I don't care about you," while Christian pleads for help. These recordings become key evidence, painting a dark picture of Courtney's possible motives. Courtney's emotional state fluctuates as she faces the harsh reality of what happened. In the days following Christian's death, she expresses regret and remorse, but her actions leading up to the incident paint a different picture. In the aftermath of the violence, Courtney continues to communicate with Christian's family, playing a role in the deception. Text messages show her daring him to lie about the cause of his injuries, even suggesting that he tell the hospital staff that it was a football accident. The manipulation and callousness only deepen the suspicion surrounding her involvement. Months pass, and the case moves forward, with the investigation revealing more about the history of abuse between Courtney and Christian. The police uncover text messages that show repeated violence, including one where Christian begged Courtney to let him back into the apartment after being locked out during an argument. This, along with other troubling evidence, leads authorities to believe that Christian's death may have been the tragic culmination of years of emotional and physical abuse. Courtney's actions after the incident only add to the mounting evidence against her. After moving back to her parents' home in Dallas, Texas, she tries to go on with her life, despite the ongoing investigation. In June, more than 2 months after Christian's death, she is involved in another disturbance, further complicating her situation. She is eventually arrested and charged with second-degree murder after a thorough review of digital evidence, including text messages and videos that show her manipulation and involvement in the events leading up to the fatal altercation. Courtney remains in jail without bond as she awaits her trial, which is scheduled for November 2024. As the case moves toward trial, the chilling details of her relationship with Christian and the tragic events that led to his death are laid bare. The question remains, Was this a tragic accident, or was it the culmination of years of manipulation and violence? Only time will tell as the case unfolds in court.